Hi everyone, Frank DiTommaso here, and welcome to this week's housing market update. I've recently had the opportunity to gather feedback on my weekly updates, and it seems that there's some concern as to what direction home values will take this year. So the question is, will home values appreciate or depreciate in 2020? I'm going to give you a better understanding of what to expect this year, so let's get right into it. If you recall, I recently discussed how real estate values are determined. We, as real estate professionals, determine values according to the basic supply and demand model. If you look at this graph, you'll see the impact of monthly housing inventory on home prices. A seller's market is anything less than 6 months, and this is when home prices appreciate. This is shown in the green area. A neutral market is 6 to 7 months, and this is where home prices may appreciate from inflation. This is shown in the black area. And a buyer's market is anything greater than 6 months, and that's where you'll see home prices begin to depreciate. This is the red area. As of March, the existing home sales report put out by the National Association of Realtors showed that there were 3.4 months of inventory in the market. And if we come back to this graph, it shows how the monthly supply of inventory has been trending downward since 2010. Now I want to show you a national trend of both seller activity and buyer activity for the past couple of months. If you look at this first graphic of the country, you'll see sellers traffic in February on the left and sellers traffic in March on the right. Here's what the colors mean. The gray areas represent weak seller traffic because of low inventory. The light blue is stable and the dark blue is strong seller traffic. Now take a look at the graphic on the right where it shows seller traffic in March. You can see a drastic difference in the market. Almost the entire country is in gray, which means that we're at a serious deficit in listing inventory. In other words, there aren't enough homes to be shown. To further support these findings, here's another graphic that summarizes the housing supply over the past 12 months. You can see the deficit of where we are now, negative 10.2%, as compared to positive territory this time last year. Now let's go back to the graphic of the country. And this one represents buyer traffic in February on the left and buyer traffic in March on the right. First look at the buyer traffic in February. Dark blue represents how strong buyer traffic was back then with a lot of demand. Then look at the graphic to the right and you'll see March's buyer demand and how it began to weaken. Gray would indicate really weak demand, but there is no gray. However, you can see how the dark blue changed to light blue, indicating a stable buyer demand. Next, I want to show you a graph that shows real estate showings in North America, which gives you a good understanding of buyer demand. You can see there was a strong buyer demand right through mid-March, and then it suddenly takes a nosedive until the middle of April. And then you can see how it turns back upward to where we are now, showing the strength of buyer demand. Along with buyer demand strengthening, keep in mind that mortgage rates are still at an all-time low. This shows you from January 2018 to today's actual interest rates. You can see the drop to where we are right now. And the red area shows you what's projected from the third quarter of this year to the first quarter of 2021. You can see that rates are expected to go as low as 3.1% by then. Now if you look at these local statistics, I'm going to show you what's happening in the Staten Island and Monmouth Ocean, New Jersey areas. First, take a look at the Staten Island graph. You can see the activity in new listings and acceptances from January of 2019 to May 2019 versus January of 2020 to May 2020. The blue bars represent 2019 and the red bars represent 2020. If you look at this graph representing new listings, you'll see that April of 2019 had 723 new listings as compared to only 92 in 2020. However, the 88 new listings in May is a good sign that new listings are coming to the market, as April's was 92 for the whole month. Now, if you look at this graph, we can see the acceptances for 2019 and 2020. The number of acceptances plummeted from February to April in 2020. But if you notice, you can see how the number of acceptances as of May 15, 2020 is already 52. At this rate, May's acceptances will easily surpass the number of acceptances for the whole month of April, which was 77. This is an indication of pent-up buyer demand. Now let's take a look at the Monmouth Ocean stats. I'm going to show you the activity in new listings and contracts for the same period of time. If you look at this first graph representing new listings, you'll see that April of 2019 had 3,893 new listings as compared to only 1,413 in 2020. And in May of 2019, there were 3,889 new listings versus 1,175 as of May 15th of 2020. However, the 1,175 new listings in May is also a good sign that new listings are coming to the market, as April's was just 1,413 for the whole month. Now we have the graph showing pending sales or contracts for 2019 and 2020. The number of contracts also plummeted from February to April 2020, but again, you'll notice that in May, the number of contracts through May 15th was 945 as compared to 1,285 for the whole month of April 2020. And just like the Staten Island market, you can see the pent-up buyer demand. Even though these two counties may be microcosms of the entire country, they seem to be following the national trend. And one last interesting point is this projection from the Home Price Expectation Survey that was taken in the first quarter of 2020. The survey revealed that cumulative house appreciation by 2024 would be somewhere between 7.3% and as much as 24.7%. The bottom line here is this. Both national and local models show a very low inventory of homes for sale. That, coupled with strong buyer pent-up demand and very low interest rates, are the perfect formula for prices to remain stable throughout 2020. And home prices will continue to appreciate over the next few years. I hope this was helpful to you, and thanks for watching this week's Housing Update.